will be deleted. So when you guys register, you'll have to put your information into the account again. The week of go live, we're going to be reaching out in an email and we will send you the link to the portal. And after that, you guys will be able to register and again use this recording to walk step by step through it. All right, well, I'm going to give Lisa the floor, and I think you guys will be pleased. I don't think it's as difficult as what it may sound. I think it's actually going to be pretty easy to register. So there you go. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Lind, and I'm a business analyst on the project and been working on the project for about 7 years. And today we are going to review a few things. We're going to go over how to register for a portal account, how to set up an attorney account, how to file documents, viewing court documents, and what else you can do in the portal. If I am going too fast, please let me know. Either speak up or raise your hand or somehow let me know that I'm going too quickly. I saw a hand raised earlier, but maybe that was just a misclick or something. So does anybody have any questions?
And Lisa, we'll on the team, we'll watch for hands coming up too. If you're
I
going
I
through
have a
something and we
question.
see a hand, we'll interject.
Just
Okay.
before we get started, I have a question. Um, I work for NDD, and most of our legal staff has access to the portal, and they have to have their own account. Will they still, when we hire people, will we still need to send you a letter requesting that they can get an account? Because that's how we do it now.
That's part of what we'll be covering today. I do not believe you will need to send a letter. And depending on what it is that they do will depend on how whether or not they just need to register or whether they need to create some other type of account.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions before we begin? And can everybody see my screen? You should be seeing a portal site, Seattle Municipal Public Justice Portal. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to start with is just the visual of the portal. So we will send you the link for this portal at Go Live. So it's you can't register early for the portal. We have to wait till we're getting ready to go live, and then we'll send you a link for that. So this is just me demonstrating what you would be doing on the portal, and everything should work pretty much as we have it today, as we're showing today. I know there's one difference that's coming in that the login or registration screen itself is different. And so I will show what that looks like, but we will use the older screen for today's purposes. So on the portal, when you just go in as just a generic public user, I haven't logged in as anybody special. This is what the view will be when you first go into the site. So to register, you can click this button here in the middle of the screen, this register button, and it'll bring you to a login page. And this is the page that's going to be different going forward. But this is what we'll use today, but this is what it will look like when we go live, if it will load. I loaded it earlier today. Maybe I loaded it too soon. There, okay. So instead, you'll get a screen that looks like this. It's very similar. It has a little bit more detail on it. The main difference is today, when I'm registering and demonstrating, I'll be just using fake emails. It doesn't validate that the email is a real email format, but the new site will, and that's part of the reason why we're not using this today, is because I don't have that many email accounts. So, but this is what it will look like. But other than that, a lot of the processes are going to be very similar. Okay, so if I wanted to register for the portal, then this is the screen I would get to. I can create a username or an email. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. We need to register. So this is the registration screen. So I can just create a name. Then I did have some attorney names that I had set up. So I'm going to use those. So let's say I'm an attorney and I don't have access currently. So I am going to create my access. It's going to ask you to put in your password twice. And currently on this site, it doesn't really give you any password like restrictions or qualifications, but the new site will. And I think I may have registered this one already. Yes, I did. So I'll do a different one. I think I did this one earlier today. So it already knows that I have that email account going. So I just will do a different one. And I come up with a username, and I'm just going to call myself Fresh. So that's what you need to do to register. First name, last name, and spell my last name right. Let's do that. I have an email address, I have a username, and a password. Yes, is there a question? All right. So once you click register, the system will store that information, and now I'm considered registered. And you see that I already have an account. Nobody has to approve my account. The system doesn't necessarily know me as an attorney. I'm just registered as Fresh Flowers, and that's all that the system knows about me at the moment. If you are needing to file documents and that's all you need to do on a case, this is as far as you have to go in terms of registration. You don't necessarily have to request attorney access and do all of that. I can file documents at this point right now. We're going to go through the process of filing documents, and I'll show you the filing documents as a registered person and also what an attorney account looks like, because we'll register one of these as an attorney account as well. And then we'll show what that looks like a little bit later. So did somebody have a question? No, okay. So if I wanted to register further as a attorney and not just as a person, then once I registered, I can come in here and I request this attorney access. And then once I've done this, then you fill out your address and all that stuff. And I just realized I don't remember if I think I can put any address in there, but let's see. Probably am not going to remember the address I put into the system. I'm just going to, this may not be, it's probably not going to be correct, but that's okay. I don't know, is it 104, 401? Then you push continue. And I would put a phone number, and I know in some places it does want to know that it's a somewhat format number. So if you try to do 555 or something like that, it's gonna, I know in some areas of the system it will know that. I'm gonna put my bar ID in here. For the purposes of my examples, I just used their names as part of their bar ID. I know that won't be what it really is gonna be like. And then you would load in a picture of your ID. So you would have to have a picture of your bar ID for somebody to validate. The document that you can upload needs to be a PDF file. So make sure that when you try to load this, it's a PDF file. So I'm just going to, oops, load up any document here. I've got some documents. And if you wanted to make comments, you could make comments. Hello, whatever it is that you wanted to say as you request your access, and then you submit your request. So once that request is submitted, that will go to the court, and somebody will be reviewing that information and approve your attorney request. And so I'm going to just wait a second here. I have Cicely who's going to graciously do that process for me. So she's going to go in and validate and approve that request. While she's doing that, I'm going to, okay.
It's ready.
Ready. Okay. So I'm going to log out for a sec just so we can see what it looks like when I go back in. And unfortunately, when I do log out, I'm going to clear my data. You won't necessarily have to do this, but because I'm going in and out as different people, it just makes it cleaner. So let's say a little bit of time has gone by and your request has been accepted. I'm going to use my user ID that I typed in, which I believe was fresh. Okay, so now it knows me as Fresh Flowers, and see if my profile. Now, my profile is, I'm in there as a public person, which is what you first saw me do, where nobody had to approve me. And now I'm in there as an attorney because I submitted my attorney request and somebody at the court has approved it. So this is an attorney that has access. So once you have the access, you can file documents. And like I said earlier, you can file documents even just as a regular registered person. I can't file documents if I don't at least register. So just an average person coming to the portal can't file any documents, but if they register, they are able to, and then records will be looking at those, any documents that are filed. Records will look at them and make sure that it's an appropriate filing. Like I can't just go to anybody's case and randomly file documents. They're going to be making sure if they're trying to file it on behalf of the defendant or behalf of the city, that the documents are signed appropriately and that sort of thing. Did I hear somebody ask a question? Another thing to know is that whatever you're using or filing now through Adobe has not changed. So anything that you're filing through Adobe now, you can continue to file through Adobe. What you file through the portal, now you can file through this new portal. But if you typically use Adobe for certain documents, that continues. This does not replace the Adobe process. Okay. So now that I have this registered attorney access, I have this feature here that I did not have as just a regular person going to the portal. So I have this ability to do a new filing. So I would click on this new filing. So if I were in here from home, so here's the home page when I log in, and then I go down to create a new filing. When I do that new filing, I'm going to enter in a case number, or I'm sorry, I'm going to file on an existing case. And so since I'm filing on an existing case, I'm going to be putting in the case number of that case. So this would be the case I want the document to go on to. So I put the case number in and I click on continue. Out of these two options, you're going to choose manual entry. And then you're going to select the document. So the document I'm going to choose on this time is, I think I can just type notice of appearance. So this is the document I'm going to file. I click continue. I click continue again. So this is the summary of what I'm going to file, this document entry on this case type. I'm going to create the filing. So at this point, I have not submitted that filing to the city yet. or to the court, I have just basically started creating that filing on the portal. So I haven't submitted it, but it's just saved what I've done so far in case you need to go do some other work or you need to come back to it another day. It's saved into the portal. But I'm going to want to complete that filing at some point. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go through and complete my filing. In this case, the attorney that I registered as is a somebody from DPD. So I'm going to say I'm filing this on behalf of the defendant. So you click who you're filing it on behalf of. It retained the document name that I chose. Is there a question? No, okay. If you want to add comments here, you can. I'm going to add one here, saying hello again, so we can see if it shows up and where it shows up. Or actually, I'm going to do hello what, because there's two places to put comments. So once I have filled in who I'm filing it by and any comments I want to make, I click save. There's 3 steps to this process. As you can see, there's 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to continue on with my steps. I'm going to enter in additional document information. Again, retain the document type that I chose. And if I want to put other comments, this is a different comment field. So I'm going to put in a comment, but I'm going to make it slightly different. And I'm going to attach the document that I want to file. Again, this has to be a PDF. So just make sure that when you're loading up these documents that they're PDFs. Once I load that, I click next. It's giving me a little summary, and I can click on the document in case I don't remember what it was I loaded and look at that, and I click finish. So again, I get a note here that it's been saved, but again, it's still not submitted to the court. Once I'm done, so this is giving me a little summary. I could add more, let's see, documents to that one, which I didn't do. I'll do that on the next one. But when I'm ready to submit it, there is an actual submit button. So until you do this, the city does not see what you have done so far. So I can submit my filing. It's going to give me a little message. Are you sure you're ready to submit it? Yes, I am. And it's going to give me a status history. It's going to tell me later. It'll give you a history of when it's been approved and that sort of thing. So now it's sent to the city or to the court, and the court will now look at that document and accept or reject it. And in today's demo, we're just going to accept them. So Cicely again is going to help me with that and do the piece that the records does when they review the portal filings. Give that a minute. Are there any questions so far? Okay. And there's a few steps that records does when they accept these, so just takes a minute. I'm gonna refresh and see.
Almost ready, not quite yet. I'm just reviewing the document, making sure it has all the appropriate signatures, which I'm sure it has. And there we go.
Awesome. All right. So if I go and search for this case, and we'll go through all the search processes in a little bit, I can see that this case now has that document filed on it. So this is a sample of what the case can look like in the portal. It'll have the case number, the type of case, filing information, and then here's all the docket entries. And these are cases that we've just created and have played around with, so they don't be distracted by they're not necessarily real docket entries or in terms of this is what the case would look like normally. But I wanted to demonstrate. So here's the docket entry that with the document that was filed. So we can see the filing date. It was the notice of appearance. And if I click on this, I should be able to view the document. But that's just the document.
No.
So there's your notice of appearance filed on this case. So if this were your real document, of course, it would be your whatever it was that you loaded. So you can see these entries here don't have the blue documents next to them. So that means that there's no document there. Normally these would have documents attached to them. They just don't at this moment. So that's how you can file a document on a case. Let's see. Sorry about that. Let's see. I think that was I think that's all I had mostly for the filing of or registering as an attorney. Are there any questions, specific questions about that part that or things that you'd want to go back to and look at? No? Okay. The reason I'm checking back on this is I expected to see something here. If you wanted to, if you had a filing that you'd submitted and wanted to know what status it was, you could click on this My Filings and you can see here's the filing we did. Previously, it would have been submitted probably as your status, but once it was approved by Cicely, it now shows an approved status. So if you were wondering what happened to the filing, you could see where it's at here in this My Filing section in the My Work area. So this was an attorney that registered and also requested the attorney access. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log out as Fresh Flowers and log in as a different attorney. Which means oops, I got to clear my data. If I don't do this, it'll just keep logging me in as Fresh Flowers. So just helps clean that out. Okay, so now I'm going to log in as my other attorney. Oops, so this is another attorney record, and this particular attorney, when I look at their user access, they're in just as a public person. This just means that they registered, but the system doesn't necessarily know them as an attorney. So they're not connected to the case in the same way. So even though I only have this public access as this person, I can still do a filing on a case. So again, I'm going to go to my create new filing. I'm creating filing on an existing case, and I put in a case number. And again, I'm going to do manual entry. I'm going to pick my document type. Let's see. I'll just do notice appearance as an easy one. So I pick my docket entry. I click continue. I'm going to create my filing. I have my 3 steps, remember here. So my first step is I'm going to enter in, I'm going to say, who am I filing this on behalf of? I'm the defense attorney again, and I'm filing it as Sunny Sunshine. I am registered as an attorney on this case. I believe I did that earlier today, but because the system doesn't know me as an attorney, it's it's not validating anything. That's what records is going to make sure that when they get the documents that I am an attorney and appropriate to file on this case. Again, I'm going to make a comment here, which I didn't look at last time, but I'm going to continue. I'm on my second step of my document filing. Again, it carries over my document name. I can make another comment. We'll look at these again for sure this time. And I select my document. This again has to be a PDF. So I finish. And I'm still on step 2 here. If I say continue and takes me to step 3, gives me my summary. And I want to go back. If I had multiple filings, this is what I didn't show the first time. If I had multiple documents I wanted to file all together on this case, then I could continue, or I could add another docket entry, and so I could build up and file 5 documents at once for the same case. So if I needed to do that, I would click add docket entry and just follow the steps again. So I'm going to do continue. So I'm just doing the one. I'm going to submit my filing. And while we're waiting for Cicely to help us out with accepting that one, I'm going to go over here and look at my work. And you can see here, this is the filing I'm just filed. And it's got a received status, meaning the court has received it. This is one I did earlier today. I'm just going to refresh. It takes just a few minutes for it to go through. Does anybody have any questions while we're waiting for that?
Can you do group filing for different cases?
You could it's filed by case number. So in the very beginning, when I started saying I wanted to file a document on an existing case, I'm only allowed to put in one case number. So you could file multiple documents, but it would all have to be for the same case.
So you could, let's say we're opening 20 cases and we want to file the notices for those 20 cases. You couldn't do it like a group file.
I
A
don't.
notice of appearance.
No,
No, I
No.
don't notice that. No.
just case by case.
Mm. So also service. I mean, do we still have to do email the city?
Can
Can it, okay, is the e-service available here? Or that we can serve the notices to the city prosecuting attorney?
we'd have to get back to you on that. I'm not aware of that on this portal. Is that something you have available on your current portal, an e-service?
Yeah, no, it's not available, but I thought
Oh.
since it's being improved, it would be something that would be considered.
Yeah, I don't see that feature on here, but we'll take a note of that and come back to it.
Okay, so basically, what's the difference between the attorney and a regular? Because most of our staff does a lot of what the attorney might be doing. So I don't know. I mean, like we have to run a docket, we have to look at the case, we have to look mostly everything. So
Yeah.
what?
Go ahead. So the difference between the attorney and somebody who has not registered as an attorney, the main difference that you're going to see is, in order to see semi or quasi-private documents, which there are a few of those, you'd have to be registered as an attorney and an attorney on that case. So that's the main difference that you would notice on that.
Right, but the attorneys, I mean, we're doing the work. They're not going to be doing that. I mean, we're not an attorney. We want to get the information. Right now, you don't have to be an attorney to get that information. We're opening cases. We're paperless, so we want to get a docket. We want to, when we open in a case, we want to print the docket, give it to the attorney. They're not. I don't know. It just kind of seems. We have access to look at a case, to look at the case, what events, hearings.
Yes.
So if that's not going to be happening to the people that actually do the work, that they can't do it, do you think the attorneys are going to do it?
So you will still have access to a lot of that information, just as even just a public person who doesn't do anything. A lot of that information will be available, and I'll show that in a couple minutes. There's only a couple of things that registering as an attorney itself provides, and that is the quasi private documents if you are an attorney on the case, and there's the ability to if you've registered. I thought that it's not. I'm not seeing it here, but yeah, there's something I'm gonna have to check. There's sometimes you can see like all the cases that you're on if you're registered in as an attorney and in your hearings. But when I looked at that with the other one, it wasn't showing at the moment. So we'll have to look into that again. But I'll show you in a couple of minutes what it looks like if you're not registered at all and just the average person from the public looking at a case. And you will look at to see what you can see on that one. So I'm going to go to the case that we filed that document on, so we can look at that, and then we won't forget to show you that other stuff because it's on our list of things to show. So this is the case that we documented or filed that document on. As you can see, it's here again. So this was a person who was. They are an attorney in the system, but I only registered them as a person. I didn't register them as an attorney. I was still able to file this document. And again, we'll just look at it real quick so you can see it. There it is. And I can see the case. The two places that I put in the comments, I was wanting to see if it would show. They show for the court when the document is filed, but I don't see that the comments that we typed in where I said hello 1 and hello 2 don't appear to be showing in the portal. So those look like those are just things that the court would use in order to review the document and accept it. Any questions about filing a document as a registered person, but not with an attorney account in the portal? Okay. The one key thing to know is that to file a document, you do have to at least minimally register. So if I don't register as a person at all, then I can't file any documents on anything. So to file a document, that's the important thing, is to have that registration level approval at least, or registration level at least. That doesn't have to be approved. And then if you want further access, it's the attorney level. Okay, so in terms of just navigating through the portal and seeing what you can see on cases, if we're at the home screen here, and what I'll do is I will log out as this person so that you can see what it just looks like just with anybody going in. Gotta clear my data. Okay, so this is just a generic person logging in. I haven't registered. I don't have a login name up here. So this is just something that anybody could see. There's these features of searching. So you can search for cases, you can search for parties, citations. I don't believe we have judgment searches. There's some calendar, there's document searches, which might be very useful. So if I was searching for a case, I can click search. I can put the case number in here. And the important thing to remember for this that I often forget myself, as much as I've looked in here and looked for stuff, is lot of times you can type enter after you put a number in like that. In this portal, you have to click search. So I can't put the case number in and press enter. I have to click search. Once I click search, it'll bring me up possible matches. Sometimes it'll bring up a few different possible matches because there might be several numbers that are similar in a similar order. So it'll say here's 5 or 2 possible ones. You just have to click the one that you know is the one you're looking for. So this is a view of the case as just a non-registered person. So I can see the same docket entries. I can see the document because it's not a private one. So I can still see the document just like anybody, you know, an attorney could or a registered person could. This particular case doesn't have very many docket entries on it, but I do have a sample case we can look at that has lots, so you can see what that looks like. I can look at the parties and see who's on the case. I can see who's representing that party. I can look at the hearings for that case. If this is not a citation case, it is a citation one. I didn't remember that. If there was a citation for this case, you can look at that and you can look at the charges. So as just a regular person going into the portal, I can see that. And I have a case that we can look at that has a lot of different things on it.
Can you print a docket?
So can I show the docket in just a moment? I'll show you I'll show you what it can look like on this case since it has a lot more entries on it. So here's a case that's existing in MSIS right now. The other one that I just showed is a new case in the new system. It's not from MSIS. So I can put in the case number. I can click search. Here's an example, however, it's saying there's 2 cases with that similar numbers. So it's going to have me choose which one. I'm going to choose the first one because that's the one I want. So you can see there's all these docket entries and there's 44 total. So I just keep scrolling through the pages if I wanted to do it that way. Again, I can see the parties. I can see all the hearings that have happened. And I can see the charges, which this one just happens to have 1. If I wanted to see this in a different view, because this one is what I'm looking at right now is the different tabs, there's this printable view. So if I click on this printable view, I'm going to get a lot of the same information, but more of in a scrolling format. So I'm not doing tabs. I'm getting the docket entries. I'm getting the parties and hearings and the charges. If this were a case that had a lot of docket entries, this will only show up to a certain amount. I think it's 250. And parties, it has a larger number of parties than just 2 or 3. But this one just has it's just a criminal case, so it doesn't have a lot of parties. It'll show a lot of the hearings and a lot of the charges. If it was a case that was really long going and had I don't know what the limit off the top of my head is, but it may not show every single hearing if it's a case that has a lot, and this view will show up to a certain number. But you can see it shows quite a bit. This is not the maximum here. And I believe it's 250 docket entries. And migrated cases will have documents migrated to them. This is not our real site. It's a pretend site, a practice site. So the documents that you've already filed on these cases aren't showing here, but they will at Go Live, and you'll see them because there'll be that blue paper document like we looked at on the other cases. So anything here that has documents should have that blue piece of paper, and then you can click on it and view it. So in terms of research that you're doing or things you're looking at or printing, this would be the equivalent of the docket. And you can, it said printable view. There's not a print button on here, but you can, if I were to right click and print like you would from any website at home, this is what it would print if I were to do that. And I could print this and it would print it out as it looks right here. Is that what you were looking for? Or any questions about that? Is that sufficient, or to answer the question that you were asking about, what if I'm not the attorney and I'm looking up information or filing documents or printing the docket? So again, this is a view where I'm not a registered person. I don't have any name logged in here. Any questions? I'm going to do one other. I think this, oops, I did that enter key again. Hard to break that habit. This is another case that has lots of docket entries. And I think this is one that has also lots of hearings. And I believe this one had lots of charges when I looked at it. Oh, no, this was just one. Okay, but you would see more charges over there. And again, if you click the printable view, you get a scrolling version. And if I right click, I can print it. And it takes just a moment to load. And there would be my printed version that I could print. Other things that you can see in here, if I wanted to search by a party, I could search by the party. I can pick the role type I expect that party to be on a case. Like if they was a common name but I was only looking for defendants, I could pick my role as defendant. I could type in their name. If I was only looking for a certain case type, I could do that as well, to narrow down my search. Oh, another thing I wanted to make sure to mention is on all of these search screens, you'll see it even on the case one, it's going to bring up only active cases or open cases. So if you know the case you're looking for is a closed case, you just have to uncheck that, and then you would get closed cases. So if you look for a case and it doesn't show up, that's the first thing I would do, is like, oh, could it be a closed case? And you can uncheck that box and do your search again. So case search for a party search. So if I know one of the people that I add a lot on mine is Sunny Sunshine when I'm making a case. If I click search, it should show me all the cases that where Sunny Sunshine is on the case. I did not say I only want to know if they're the defendant or a witness or whatever. I just said any of them. But if I wanted to narrow that search down, all I'd have to do is I could pick the role that I believe that person would be on, or I could say, oh, I only want to see that person's criminal cases, that sort of thing. For citations, same business. You can type in the citation number if you have it. One thing different in the new system is all citations, any citation that the court gets will also have a case number. So you can search by the case number, or you can search by the citation number. So if you want to search by the case number, you do the case search. If you're searching by the citation, you do the citation search. And there's a calendar search. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you could do search by what floor of the hearing it might be on, the type of session it is. You can just search by dates. And so there's a lot of defaulted dates in here, but if you want to do a custom date range, you can do that as well. So you can do, type in, you could do the date. Say I want to look for this date to this date and do that. Then it'll bring up all the different sessions and the different floors. So there's a lot of variety of searching for calendars. And the last search that might be something you're interested in is document search. And for these, you would pick your document type. You can pick your file date. It's very similar. Defaulted date item or selections that the calendar had. And again, you can do a custom date range. I have not practiced with these, but so I don't know how well these would work. I think if you did by the document type and a date range would probably be your best success. And then the case category, you could limit that. I only want to know find a brief or a motion on criminal cases. You can limit it by that. And you could also limit it by the date the case was filed, not the document itself, but the case. And again, there's that exclude button here. One thing that we should mention is it says search warrant. So these would be the only public on the portal once the search warrant is made public. So if it's an in-process search warrant that's not open to the public, you wouldn't see anything on the portal for that. But at some point when that filing comes back and the point when it is deemed it can be a public document, then the case would be in the portal, but it won't show them until then. Are there any questions about how to search or what I can see on the portal? Anything you want to revisit that we showed?
When can we expect to receive the email link for to set up these accounts on Go Live?
I believe that would start at no earlier than Sunday the 3rd. It could be the 4th of March 4th. The system has to be up and ready for use before we can send that out. So it'll be sometime that first week of March. Any other questions or anything anybody wants to see repeated? I can show, I have a citation search if that, oops, but oh, I just have the case number on that. I'm going to bring up this one because I know it has a citation on it, so we can look at what they would have on it. So you can see a little bit of the citation information. Yes?
Just for my clarification, will infractions be uploaded to the new system, like infraction documents will be available
Yes.
through the new system on day one?
As far as we know, as I know, they should be, the document should be available as well as the infraction cases.
Okay, cool.
I haven't heard that there wouldn't be a reason why they're not there day one. If it's been filed and saved as a case document, I would expect it to be there.
Cool.
We'll double check on that though. We'll put that on our list. I'm not part of that group, so I'm going off of things that I believe we've heard. I haven't heard anything that the documents shouldn't be there, but we'll double check that.
I have several questions.
Yes.
I put them in the chat if that's easier, but I can also state them. But I don't know. You tell me what's easiest.
I can read them. I'm just taking, my computer's going a little slow. It's not coming up.
Okay, I'll just.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I'd just like to know, I have 3 questions. The first is, can you search for calendars by courtroom? You know, we have a lot of calendar attorneys who have morning and afternoon out of custody arraignments. We need to be able to see who's in an individual courtroom. The current portal allows for that, and I'm not seeing that in your presentation. So I'm curious.
So there's a couple of ways you could do it. You could do it by floor. So our in custody cases on the 11th floor.
They're in an entirely different building.
Okay, so hang on. King County Jail. So if I search by the location, it'll give me all of the ones in that location. And so this would be one way you could find them. If it was a courtroom in the courthouse and on the 11th floor or the 10th floor, it'll bring all of these up, and I can organize them by the room. So if I pick the 11th floor and say search, it gives me all the rooms and see how they're not in order. But if I click this room filter, it will group them. So I could go forward till I find, I want all the ones in 102, and this will give me. There's other feature filters you could add to this search to get it down further. You can do it just for one day so you don't get so many. You could do it by, if you get familiar with what the session type names are, you could do it by that. So they're in custody women. There may not be much in there because this is like in our test site, but you could do that. So there's a few different search criteria you can use with the calendar search to get that.
Yeah, I'll just put it out there that it would certainly help us and be more efficient and useful if we can search by courtroom as opposed to three courtrooms on each floor. It would create a bit of chaos. So that'll just pitch for that if that's possible.
I agree. We'll write that down. We did pitch that. It didn't wasn't something we were able to get at the moment, but it's definitely something that we have talked to the vendor about, that we wanted the room. Yeah.
Can attorneys search for their cases and their schedules like you can in the current portal?
So the one thing that I know that was working earlier, and I'm not sure why I can't get it to work at the moment, so I'm going to try something else. I know that let me try this one again. I'm going to log in. If you're an attorney on the case and you've registered as an attorney, you're registered and then request attorney access, I believe you do get a view like that, but it did not show up with the person I did earlier during this training. So let me put in somebody else. So let me see. Okay, so I don't know why I didn't work on the person I did earlier. Maybe it just took a moment to work. So this is a person that's registered as an attorney. They're on the cases, and so here's all the, when I go to my work and my cases, I'm able to see all the cases that I'm on and my hearings. So that's available if you've registered and requested attorney access and you're the attorney on the case.
So that's going to be a bit of a problem for us. So like I'm a supervisor. If I have an attorney who's on leave or unexpectedly sick, it's really helpful for me to be able to look up an attorney's name, even if I'm not the attorney of record, to see where they're supposed to be and be able to cover and figure out coverage for their hearings. Is there a way that someone who is not the attorney of record can look up an attorney's schedule and figure it out?
I will have to get back to you on that. I do not believe so, but I don't want to say that 100%. But the searches that we have available to us are these ones, and I don't believe that I can search for by the attorney.
Okay, well, there's my pitch for that as well. And then my next question is about speedy trial expiration. On the current portal system, we can look up a case and we know the speedy trial is calculated by the court automatically. Is that going to be presented somewhere? I didn't see it in anything that you presented so far today, and I want to make sure that that's included.
I don't think it is, but unless somebody else from the court's on, we may have to get back to you for that if there's another way that you can see it. There's some things that maybe you can see in the portal, your current portal now, that you would see in a docket entry or a document that, but I don't know that the speedy trial expiration date is one of those things.
If we could include that, that would be great.
And I think somebody's writing all those down, correct? So we have about 4 minutes left. I see we have questions in the chat. If we haven't gotten through all of them, those will be also something that we will get back to you on. Is there any else burning question that somebody wants to ask that they have not had a chance to ask verbally or put into chat?
There's a hand raised, Lisa.
Oh, okay. I'll change my view here. Oh, it's not easy for me to tell. Okay. Oh, that is the hand. Oh, there it is. So is that Lorna?
It's Lorna, yes.
Oh,
Hi.
okay.
Yeah, so as a supervisor and then some other lead attorneys in the prosecutor's office, we cover the domestic violence review calendars and we'll need access to probation requirements, which as I understand, I'm sorry, probation reports, which I understand would be considered quasi-private. So unless I filed a notice of appearance on all of the probation review cases, I won't be able to look at that information.
So some of the probation reports are public and some are private. So if it's a public one, you should be able to see it just fine on the portal. If it's a private one, I believe we'll have to get back to you for sure, but I believe that probation might be asked to provide that. They're going to send it to the court. And you can always ask the court for it because I don't know if they're recommending that you file, but there will be a way for you to be able to get it either provided by the court or records request or something.
A records request for the
Well, I mean,
probation reports for all the probation reports on a review calendar every Friday?
not all of them, just the ones that would be private. So some of the probation reports are public. There's only certain ones that would be private in certain cases. So those ones, if they're
Okay.
private, well, then there'll have to be another way for you to get those. But I don't think that asking you to file a notice of appearance on all of the cases would be,
Right.
yeah, the way to go.
Hence
But
the
yeah,
problem. So
yeah,
I would ask that we kind of look at that,
yeah. So we'll
kind
put
of
that on our list. Yeah.
echoing what everyone else says about covering and coverage attorneys having to file NOAs in
Yeah.
order to access information in the court file.
So we'll
Maybe if we could change
oh,
that to having, if you're registered as an attorney, like on the current system, if I'm registered as an attorney, I can look at an entire court file.
yeah, and so part of that is how the portal was set up by the vendor in the way their system goes to certain things you have to be the attorney of record and register or get an attorney account and be attorney on the case. So we can put that down as a concern, but it's part of that is how the portal is designed by the vendor. So I don't know if that's going to be a change coming in the future, but we understand the concern that's a difference that you guys don't have now, or that you have now that you won't have coming forward. And again, I think somebody's writing all these down because I wouldn't be able to keep up with them all. And so we have other questions, and so I see lots of things in the chat, and I'm sure we did not get through all of them. Oh, and Cicely is saying she's taking notes of all the quasi-private document questions. Great, Cicely, thank you. So we are right at 4. So I do want to thank you guys for your time and your patience today, and 4 o'clock on a Friday on a 3-day weekend. Cheers to you guys for jumping on today. Really appreciate it, and appreciate all your questions. That just will help us get better for you guys and be able to provide the information that you guys need. And can they continue to send questions on here, Ashley, Do you know if they think of something later, or is there some other way they can get a question to us?
Yeah, I think if you can route your questions through a supervisor or a main point of contact, that would be the easiest via a group email or anything to make it most efficient so that we don't get lots of one-off emails that we're trying to sift through.
Great. And then we can add those to our list of things to get back with you guys on.
And the supervisor should send that to you, Ashley, or who should we send the questions to?
Yes, they can send it to me for now. Thank you so much,
Great.
Lisa.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Teaching the class today.
Sure.
Great job, Lisa. Thank you for coming, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Here's my screen. Here we go.